Welcome back to the Outback Nerd. Today we're diving into the basics of Godot's UI system by creating a funky little project to show off some of the features you will want to know about as you start putting together your games. This will give you a solid foundation to build more complex interfaces for your project. A brand new project opened up and let's go from there. So the first thing we're going to do is grab a user interface node for our base root node and we're going to rename it to UI. All right, let's save that just to get things rolling. We now have our scene saved. So what we want to do first, I think, is get a background happening. So let's look for a texture rect. And then I'm going to use this bg.png texture, which you can grab from itch along with the Baza top-down sprites as well if you want them. But drag it over into the texture for our rect. Let's turn this to ignore size for now, and then let's come up to the top to our anchors and actually set it for the full screen. There we go. So that's our backdrop sorted. Let's rename it. Probably is a good idea to background. All right. So we have got our root scene, or our scene started with our root node as a control node, and then we've also added a texture rect for our background. The next thing we're going to do, jump back onto our root there, and we're going to add a panel. So have a look for a panel. We want it to be a child of our root node, not of the background. So once we've got our panel there, what we're going to do is get it so it's sort of in the middle here, and then we're going to play around with some colors and things like that. So let's have a look at that first. Let's go to our layout, our transform. So in terms of size for our panel, I think what we're going to want is probably something like 500 by maybe 300, something like that. Now let's come up to the top to our anchors and let's put that in the middle. Okay, so there's our panel, dead center in the middle, the size that we've given. But it's just kind of this boring Godot gray color. We can do a bit more. So if we come down to our theme overrides here, and then our styles, if you click on the empty and go for a new style box flat, and then click on that, we've got a whole bunch more things we can do. So let's click on our background color. And I'm going to get sort of an orangey color because it goes with the theme that I've got going on here, right? So give that a bit of an orange. And now I'm going to come down and tinker with some of these other things. Let's go with a couple of pixel border around it, but not in white, probably like a darker version of the orange sort of that we've gone with, but give it a bit of transparency still. Oh yes, let's round off our corners a bit, like a 10. Yeah, that looks all right. So let's go 10 for each of our corners there. Excellent. And a shadow, let's do that too. So what's going to be a good size for a shadow here? Maybe like 25. And then let's give it an offset of 25 and 25 as well. All right, that just gives our scene a little bit of interest, a little bit of depth. Lovely. Okay, so that's our panel done. So we've got our root node being our control node. We then added a texture rect, which is our background. And then to our root node, we've also added this panel. Now let's rename this to like resources panel, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to make just a little funny resources game. So there's our resources panel. After we've got that, we are going to want to, I think, start to organize some information in here. So the way we're going to do that, I'm going to click on my resources panel. So our next node will be a child of it. Click on our new node and we're going to look for a box. So I'm just going to grab a box container. Actually, you might have seen there are HBox and VBox, which inherit from the box container here. But if you just take the box container, you can then actually decide whether you want vertical or horizontal in here. So you can sort of play around with it and see which one you rather. So that's why I like to do it that way, basically. But let's we've got our box. Let's rename it to resources container, like so. And then I think we're going to go with, what should we do with this one? Maybe vertical. I think we'll go vertical. All right. So we're going to give it vertical for our position. We want it to be our whole whole panel size. So we can fit it all on there nicely. Okay. I think that is it for the box. What should we do next? Let's start putting things in there. So with our resources container, the box we just made, we're going to add a child node to that, which will be a progress bar. And this progress bar, let's call that one, let's call it energy progress bar. And let's just make a couple of duplicates. this one will be food progress bar, progress bat. Okay, and this one here will be water progress bar. All right, so we've got our 3 progress bars. Let's set up the things here. So if we click back on our energy one, we want our value to start at 100, right? So beginning to end is fine, show percentage is fine, min value 0, max value 100. We want our value to start at 100, so we're going to start with full energy. Okay, but let's go down to our visibility here and let's just make it a bit prettier. So what are we doing? Energy, maybe like a pinkish color maybe for our energy. That's good. All right, for our food, let's come across to our food. So same thing, we want our value to be 100. We want our color to be, I don't know, something yellowy, I guess. That'll do. And then our water, well, we'll make that blue, won't we? But let's get our value to 100. Visibility, modulate, and then a blue color. All right. So we now have 3 progress bars, but we don't actually know, like we've labeled them over here. We've named them in our scene tree, but we have no way of telling in our UI what is going on, do we? So let's add some labels in here as well. So clicking back on our resources container, and we're going to add a label. And I wonder what we're going to call this one. I'm going to call it energy label. And then we're going to duplicate that twice. And one is going to be called food label. And one is going to be called water label. Okay, now I might just organize these in our scene tree so everything sort of lines up nice. So energy, energy, food, food, water, water. Now we need to actually write in these. So come over to our inspector. This one was energy, food label, food, and water label, water. But that's a bit tacky with it like that, isn't it? So let's change our horizontal alignment to center for each of those. Oops. And center. All right, we're looking better, but it's still a little bit icky. Let's go back to our layout of our resources container. See if we can't just improve this a little bit. So let's just get like 5 and 5 off like that. But we're also going to need to make it a bit smaller, aren't we? So it all fits in. More than 5, maybe 10. Yep. Okay. Pull that in. Pull that in. Beautiful. All right. That's a little bit neater. So now we've got our progress bars. We've got our labels. We've played around with some colors and things with our bars. All right, I think we want to get something a bit more interesting happening now. So I'm going to click on our root node and we're going to add an animated sprite 2D. Oops, I missed it. Yes, delete the node. Back to our 2D view. Let's try again. Animated sprite 2D. And we're going to call this Baza 1. And we're calling it Baza 1 because there's going to be a Baza 2. All right, animation, sprite frames, new sprite frames. Click on that. We are going to keep our default one here. It's going to be our autoplay. We're going to click our waffle and go to Baza top down. And I think we got 5 by 10. And this was just our Baza sort of idling away. Just going to be those ones there. Excellent. But we want another one, which is going to be called die. And we'll get to that a bit later. Don't want that one to keep going, we do. All right, back to our waffle, back to our top down. And then it's 5 by 10. And then we want our die one, which is down here. Add. All right, so we've got our 2, well, we've set up our 2 animations. We haven't actually really done much with them yet. Let's make this one a bit bigger. Okay, so he's looking, well, that's sort of how things look when I don't have my glasses on. But in this particular instance, we can fix it quite easily. If we go to our project settings and we go to our textures down here, canvas textures, default texture filter linear. We don't want that. We want nearest. Let's close that. And ta-da, just like a brand new pair of specs. So there is Baza. I actually want to duplicate Baza. I want 2 Bazas and I want one on each side. Let's just turn on our grid here so we can try to line that sucker up. They're both, that'll do me. All right, so there's our Bazas. We're moving. Okay, we want to make our bars here, our energy bar, food bar, water bar, we want to make them do something. So let's add to our root node some timer nodes. So we're going to have, like a energy timer. And then we're going to, as I'm sure you're working out now, have a food timer. And we're also going to have a water timer. Okay. Now our energy timer, I think we're going to set our wait time on this to 0.1. And we want it to auto start. For our food timer, let's set that to actually 1 is good for that and auto start. And for our water timer, let's set it to 0.5 and to auto start. So that's 3 timers. Now we haven't done anything yet to link them back to our actual scene. To do that, we're going to need to set up a script. So let's go to our root node and click on the add a script, calling it UIs. Wowzers, that's some zoomed in stuff. I must really have been having a no glasses day. Okay, so this is what our script looks like. We don't actually want this to worry about this just yet. Let's just duck back here because it looks prettier. Now let's click on our energy timer in our scene tree. And then let's come up to our node and double click our timeout signal. And we want to signal that back to our script. And there it is there. So let's do that for each of them. And that's going to give us 3 little functions that we can go and play around with. All right, so energy timeout, food timeout, water timeout. Excellent. I think now it's probably time to start scripting these guys. So what I think we'll do is we'll set up some variables first for our bars up here. So we're going to have a onReady variable called energy bar, and that is going to be equal to our energy progress bar like that. Okay, let me zoom out a bit further so you can see things a bit better. Okay, so that's what we're going for. So let's do that for each of them. Now onReady var for our water bar, and that will equal our water progress bar, and our onReady var for our food bar, and that one is that one. So we've just set up 3 variables there to handle what those bars are to make life easier down here. So now let's go down to our timeouts, right? So all we really want to do here, well, I think it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to just go, we're going to say if the energy bar value is greater than 0, right? So we haven't, it starts at 100. If it's not made it to 0 yet, what do we want to do? We want to go energy bar dot value, value, take equals 1. So we just want to take 1 away. If it's not yet 0, take 1 away each time our timer times out. That's the general gist anyway. Now, what about our food timer? Yes, it is basically the same, isn't it? So we just got to change those little bits each time. So let's just go both of these, and then let's change our energy to food, energy to food. What I should be doing, because I've been, trying to learn new tricks and things, Alt and click, and then I can do them both at once, right? Water bar. All right. So that is our timeouts now. Basically, when the timer that automatically starts times out, it's going to take 1 away from our energy, food, or water timer, and they are differentiated by what we set up in the inspector for those timers. So our energy timer, 0.1 of a second, food timer, 1 second, water timer, 0.5 of a second. So all of that is theoretically at a stage that should work. Let's have a quick look at what we've got. Let's give it a go. Let's see if we see those things decreasing. And we do. All right. So energy going down really quickly. Food, not so much. Water, quicker than food, but not as quick as energy. Actually, we should probably swap those 2 around so it just looks a bit better. And we also should have a way to quit easily. So if we want to swap them around, we don't actually have to play with them here on the screen. We can do it over here. So if we just grab our water progress bar and our water label, and I just move them above, they automatically swap there. And now they'll all decrease in like a bit more of an organized fashion. All right, and I said we probably should have a quit button too. So let's go back here. Let's grab a button, which we're going to add to our root node, and we'll just call it quit button. And we'll signal that button through just like we did with our timers. And we're going to signal through this pressed one. All right, so let's signal that through. Where have we added it? Down the bottom here somewhere? I hope so. Excellent. Let's sort out this quit like so. So just get tree.quit. That's all we need for that. So that should help us to quit. What do? And we move those others around. So let's just do another quick little test to make sure that works. Oh, I didn't set up our quit button. Stupid. Let's click on quit button. Let's go to our inspector. Let's give it some actual text here. And let's have a look at where it sits in the scheme of things. I think we can do better than that. Let's just bring it down and in a little bit. All right, now let's have a look. All right, there's our quit button. These are going down evenly. Beautiful. Quit works. Excellent. All right. I think it's time to add a few more buttons that will interact with these here as well, just to sort of round this out. So I think to tidy this up, what we're going to do, let's go back to our resources, actually our resources container, and we're going to add another container inside of it, another box inside our resources box. And this one's going to be our button box. All right, so our button box has appeared there beneath our bars and labels. We are going to add some buttons to it. So let's add our first button. This one is going to be our energy button. All right, it's going to have the word energy. Actually, let's do a bit more. Add to energy. Just add energy. Yeah, that looks better. All right, so add energy for that one. And then we're going to want two more of these. This one is going to be our water button. And this one is going to be our food button. And then we're going to come over here. Our food button is going to have add food. And our water button is going to have add water. All right. But that's all looking a bit daggy. Let's go back to our alignment here in our button box, and let's go to center, and that puts our buttons in the center, and it's looking a bit neat and tidy now. Actually, you know what else we should do? Let's just do a little bit more to show you some other things that you're capable of doing. So let's go to our energy button, and let's go to our theme overrides and our font sizes. Where is it? Font sizes. And we can actually change the size of our button fonts if we want. So we could take this up and up and up. Maybe we want it to be a bit bigger, maybe 30. And then let's do the same to our water button, right? Can't do it just to one. That would be a bit weird. Theme overrides, font sizes, 30. I don't know if they're all going to fit this size, actually. I might be getting a bit too excited. Font sizes, 30. Yeah, they fit. It's fine. All right. So we've got add energy, add water, add food. We need to signal these through though, right? Just like we've done with the other button. So go to our node, pressed, signal through, next, pressed, next, pressed. All right. Did I not click? All right, there we go. We've now got 3 new functions we need to do something with. And what we want to do is actually pretty bloody simple, right? So all we want to do for our, say, our energy button here, when we press our energy button, we want to, on our energy bar, the variable we made earlier, we want to set that value to be energy bar dot value. What am I doing? Energy bar dot value equals energy bar dot value plus 10. Okay. So all we're doing there is just adding 10 points. So when I press the button, I'm adding 10 points to whichever one of these buttons I'm pressing. Of course, it's not energy bar for this one. It's water bar. Water bar. And this one as well is, oops. This one is our food bar. Okay. Save that. So now when we press one of these buttons, which we've signaled through, it's going to add 10 to each of those. So let's see if that actually works. All right, we can see them going down. So if I click add energy, it adds, add. It works, it all works, and quit still works. All right, but there needs to be something that happens. Well, maybe we don't keep up with clicking the buttons, so we need to have some way of sort of ending the game. I think that's what we're up to now. So I think there's one more UI tip that we should have a look at, and that's going to be our pop-up. So let's go back to our root node and let's look for a pop-up. And we are going to call this pop-up died pop-up. Oops, died pop-up. All right, our died pop-up. Let's go back to our 2D view just so we can see what we're doing here. So our died pop-up is going to come up when we run out of energy or water or food. This is going to come up and basically say, oh, you've lost the game, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's where we're at. So we've got our pop-up, we've created it. Let's go to our inspector, position it, I don't know, something like 450 and 300. Let's make it visible. That's going to make our lives easier. There it is. And maybe our size 300 and 250. Yeah, it's sort of, so it's basically over the buttons. That's good. I'm happy with that. Let's pretty this up with a panel. We should be pretty familiar with panels by now. We've done it already. Oops, pop up panel. That's our pop-up panel. We want that to be the whole size. And let's bring it off the edge a little bit, just so we're not, any text or anything we put in doesn't bleed off the edge. Theme override, styles. Do you remember how to do this bit? Empty, flat box, click on it. Pick a new color. It's going to be, what's going to go? Like a blue like the sky or something. I don't know. That'll do. Border. Let's go. Oh, I know what I'm doing here. Because we've brought it off the edge, that's what's happening. Let's actually go back to here. All right. That's fine. We'll give it the blue. Okay, so that's our panel. We're now going to want to have a way of organizing what we put in this panel. So let's add another box. This can be our pop-up box, like so. Now this one here, let's bring this one off the edge. That's going to make more sense. At the moment, our size is 40 by 40. Let's just leave that be for now. In our pop-up box, we're going to want to add a rich text label. And the text is going to be, oh no, Bazza died. I want to make sure that the content shows up on there. What's going on here? Make that vertical. We need to make that bigger. There we go. So full size, oh no, Bazza died. But I reckon that text is a bit small. So let's go to our, oh, hang on. Did we get that off the edge? No. So let's go 5 and 5. There we go. Now, our rich text label, we want to make this a bit more impressive. So let's go to our theme overrides, our font sizes, and our normal font. What's this going to look like? It's 20. I think we can go bigger. 30. There we go. Oh no, Bazza died. And we're upset about it. But we want to add some more gear in here. So we want to add in some buttons so that we can make a choice and do something different. So let's add another box. Let's add another box. And this time we're going to go in a different direction, I think. We'll call this one pop-up button box. And it's going to get, yeah, you guessed it. It's going to get one new button that's going to be called retry. And let's type that in up here. There it is. And it's going to get, as well, it's going to get a copy of our quit button. So let's just bring that down into our pop-up button box as well. Now, if we want this to be a bit neater, we can change our alignment to center. We can also, if we want, make these buttons bigger, right? So let's override the text size on our button. What do we make the text? It was like 30, so maybe like 25? Why not? Why not indeed? Theme overrides, font sizes, 25. Okay. Oh no, Bazza died, retry or quit. We need to signal our retry through on pressed, like so. That takes us through here. How do we retry in our script, you ask? Well, it's actually surprisingly, I think surprisingly easy. We just want to get this line here, bring it across, There it is. So we want to get tree, reload current scene. So we just look up our tree and we grab that scene at the top and reload it. And we already know what the quit button does. So let's go back, have a look. Yeah, this is probably a bit daggy, but you get the point. Let's save that. There's one thing that's not going to be working with that, right? And that is we need a way to actually trigger it from showing up, don't we? So let's add a script to our pop-up. And what do we want to put in there? We want to add a warning that just basically we're using it for one thing. That's to run this show warning and then pop-up centered. So this pop-up centered we get from the pop-up class. So that's why I'm just doing it this way. And then if we go back to our UI's script, we're instead going to add a new function in there. I shall show you. Copy that. And this new function is called show warning. And what we're going to do with show warning is we're going to grab our dyed pop-up, right, which is this sucker here, and we're going to run that show warning that we just made. And we're also going to change the animation playing on our two Bazzers to die. So Bazzer and Bazzer are going to die, and we should also get the pop-up showing up. So let's go back to our script. But we still need a way of calling that, right? So how is that going to get made? How is that going to get called? Well, that's going to be in our timers. So if we come up here, so we've got an if statement. Well, let's just add an else to it. Just like that. Copy that. And that one. There we go. Save that. Let's have a quick look. I think we're done. Let's run it. Okay, let's just check our buttons. Quit. That quit works. Add energy works. Add water works. Add food works. Hang on. Add water. Add food. Yeah, does work. And we let it die. Does our pop-up work? Our pop-up comes up and our Bazzer dies. Can we retry? Yes, we can. And one more thing to test. Can we quit? So let's just wait. Do. Hurry up and die, Bazzer. There it is. Quit. That's it, guys. So I will work on an improved version of this to sort of go to the next level, where we might use some textures and things to make it a bit more unique to your setup. But thanks for sticking with me thus far, and I hope you learned something.